Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SITI SYAZWINA binti HUZAINI. Today I would like to present about mutualism interaction. Before we enter more details about mutualism interaction, I want to tell what is mutualism. Mutualism is a type of relationship between the host and a symbiont, where both organism benefits and no one is harmed. This relationship may either continue for longer or for shorter term. Another mutualism term can be defined as interactions between organisms of two different species in which each organism benefits from the interaction in some way. The term mutualist is used to indicate the small partner and the host are the other partners present in the mutualism. Mutual relationship is seen in all living organisms, including human beings, animals, birds, plants, and other microorganisms like bacteria, virus, and fungi. Mutualism is a sort of symbiosis. Next, there are two mutualism interaction, which is symbiotic and non-symbiotic. Okay, next we go to the symbiotic. What is symbiotic? Symbiotic is two organisms live in close physical association. Symbiotic also both derive benefits and at least one member of the pair cannot lead an independent life. Meanwhile, non-symbiotic is the species do not live together. Non-symbiotic is also both member benefits each other and relationship is either facultative or opportunistic. Okay, now we go more details about mutualism interaction. There are 5 mutualism interaction, which is number 1, obligate mutualism, number 2, facultative mutualism, number 3, trophic mutualism, number 4, defensive mutualism, and lastly, number 5, dispersive mutualism. Okay, we go to the number 1 first, which is obligate mutualism. In obligate mutualism, the species involved are in close proximity and interdependent. This means that the absence of one means the death of the other. They will not be able to survive without each other, thus they are tend to coexist and evolve together. The lichen is a modern example used to describe and explain this type of mutualism. Okay, this is the example of lichen, which is lichen on rock, lichen on tree bark, moss lichen, and lastly lichen on log. Furthermore, we go to the second type of mutualism, which is facultative mutualism. In facultative mutualism, the interacting species derive benefit from each other, but not fully dependent on one another. Thus, one can still survive even without the other. This is the more common form of mutualism in nature. As an example, let's take a look at how plants and birds interact in a mutualistic way. The plants bear fruits that the birds feeds on. In return, the birds help disperse the seeds. For example, when they excrete them in a place far from the parent plant. This is beneficial to the parent plant because its offspring may eventually compete for space, light, and nutrient. Moreover, we go to the third type of mutualism interaction, which is trophic mutualism. In trophic mutualism, the partners are specialized in complementary ways to obtain energy and nutrients from each other. For example, the cows and the bacteria. Cows cannot digest the plant's cellulose. The bacteria present in the rumens of cows helps in digesting plant cellulose. In reverse, bacteria get foods and warm environments, which is required for their growth and development. Besides that, we go to the another type of mutualism interaction, which is defensive mutualism. In defensive mutualism, one partner receives food and shelter, and in return, it helps the partner by defending against the herbivore or predator or parasites. For example, the aphids and the ants. The aphids produce honeydew to the ants, which is carried to their nests at night for protecting them from the predators and escort. These aphids are carried back to the plants the next morning. In return, ants are benefited by assembling the aphid's egg and storing in their nest chambers to survive the cool winter months. Lastly, the number 5 type of mutualism interaction is dispersive mutualism. In dispersive mutualism, one partner receives foods in return for helping flower in transferring their pollen. For example, honeybees and the plants. Honeybees travel from one flower to another, search of nectar from the flower, which is required to prepare honey. In return, plants are benefited by the pollination as the honeybees spread the pollens from one plant to another. Okay, next we go to the details of mutualism interaction, which is the example of animal mutualism interaction. Okay, first we go to the example one that I choose for mutualism interaction, which is plant pollinators and plants. Insects and animals play a vital role in the pollination of flowering plants. While the plants pollinators receive nectar or fruits from the plants, it also collects and transfers pollens in the process. Flowering plants rely heavily on insects and other animals for pollinations. Bees and other insects are lured to plants by the sweet aroma secreted from their flower. When the insect collects nectar, they become covered in pollen. As the insects travel from plant to plant, they deposit the pollen from one plant to another. Other animals also participate in a symbiotic relationship with plants. Birds and mammals eat fruits and distribute the seeds to other locations where the seeds can germinate. Now we go to the second example of mutualism interaction, which is ants and aphids. Some ant species herd aphids in order to have a constant supply of honeydew that the aphids produce. In exchange, the aphids are protected by the ants from the other insect predators. Some ant species farm aphids and other insects that feed on sap. Ants herd the aphids along the plants, protecting them from potential predators and moving them to prime location for acquiring sap. The ants then stimulate the aphids to produce honeydew droplets by stroking them with their antennae. In this symbiotic relationship, the ants are provided with a constant food source, while the aphids receive protections and shelter. Furthermore, we go to the third example of mutualism interaction, which is clownfish and sea anemone. Clownfish live within the protective tentacle of the sea anemone. In return, the sea anemone receives cleanings and protection. Clownfish and sea anemones have a mutualistic relationship in which each party provides valuable service for the other. Sea anemones are attached to rocks and in their aquatic habitats and catch prey by stunning them with their poisonous tentacles. Clownfish are immune to the anemone's poison and actually live within its tentacles. Clownfish clean the anemone's tentacles, keeping them free from parasites. They also act as bait by luring fish and other prey within striking distance of the anemone. The sea anemone provides protection for the clownfish as potential predators stay away from its stinging tentacles. Other than that, another example of mutualism interaction is shark and remora fish. Remora are small fish that can attach to shark and other large marine animals. Remora receive foods while the shark receive grooming. Measuring between 1 to 3 feet in length, remora fish use their specialized front dorsal fins to attach to passive marine animals like shark and whales. Remora provides a beneficial service for the shark as they keep its skin clean from parasites. Sharks even allow these fish to enter their mouths to clean debris from their teeth. Remora also consume unwanted scraps left over from the shark meals, which help to keep the shark immediate environment clean. This reduces the shark exposure to bacteria and other disease-causing germs. In exchange, the remora fish get free meals and protection from the shark. Since sharks also provide the transportation for remora, the fish are able to conserve energy as an additional benefit. Lastly, the mutualism interaction I choose is lichen. Lichens result from the symbiotic union between fungi and algae or fungi and cyanobacteria. The fungus receives nutrients obtained from the photosynthetic algae or bacteria, while the algae or bacteria receive foods, protection and stability from the fungus. Lichens are complex organisms that result from the symbiotic union between fungi and algae or between fungi and cyanobacteria. The fungus is the major partner in this mutualistic relationship that allow lichen to survive in number of different biomass. Lichens can be found in extreme environments like deserts or tundra, and they grow on rocks, trees, and exposed soil. The fungus provide a safe protective environment within the lichen tissue for the algae and cyanobacteria to grow. The algae or cyanobacteria partner is capable of photosynthesis and provide nutrients for the fungus. In conclusion, mutualism occurs in every aquatic and terrestrial habitat, which indeed ecologists now believe that almost every species on Earth is involved directly or indirectly in one or more of these interactions. Mutualism are crucial to the reproduction and survival of many plants, animals, and to nutrient cycle in ecosystem. In particular, mutualism are important drivers of ecosystem structure and function. Through the facilitation of partner, mutualism allows organisms to excel in otherwise marginal habitats, avoid competition, exploit new niches, and buffer environmental variability. That's all from me. Thank you.